So yeguso mamo update on Addo Hanan abusuya arrest arresting or airport and who controversies bebre ɛkyɛ ne lawyer ababonten GodfredDame wadidididi nkomo ne bia na ene GodfredDame edimrika edwane ede ato a Chief Justice Paul Bafoboni asisi a or file application ono de ɔse ne client no ye ma no access a obetumi and then a client no akasa and BNI hono so no omonim baby kra custody kra ne client a friend no Hanan ewo enti no or file application just a friend no heaviest couple sa heaviest couple ase say Chief Justice order BNI and as national security na release Abdul Hanan edema court into another yes application or file akwa chief justice na chief justice order BNI no more release Hanan akwa court na chese ne bi an court ne Hanan edi na emremu no yenchi obi emanin demusa for almost 48 hours. Within 48 hours no say you release no enti no GodfredDame former attorney general or the America edwane atoa the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana say on intervene na Abdul Hanan release no emfama court abusuya mom yanko na yankonkoti ensema course no ba de aka atoa so na ansa na yebekon Ghana ha say open computer papa and a laptop papa na we use the Abura Perosi computers and accessories and our benya laptop papa na we using the location and yira kwan o Kumasi Bookroom Estates Eli Peke number na egu your screen ya say 0247 030 108 and as 0597 942 133 yembonra yensem ne ba ya de aka atoamoso.
The part I can stick out my neck and say something for Hanan is that I understand his application for habeas corpus. I don't know if you are coming to it.
Yes. I'm coming to that because these are the reliefs that he is seeking from the court regarding this habeas corpus, essentially asking the BNI to produce the body or to produce him Hanan before the courts. They are asking that the BNI be ordered to produce him, to compel the BNI to comply with the court's own travel order dated 29 June 2026, and then also a confirmation of the order permitting him to travel. These are the reliefs that they are seeking, Counsel.
Yes, that one I support Dami and Hanan 250%. My understanding is that the application is to be heard on Friday. That is too long. That is too long. I think GodfredDame can move this into abridge the time tomorrow. I can file an application and then apply to Chief Justice so that they can list it and it will be heard tomorrow to abridge the time. Because once Friday has been written as a date to be heard, usually the way that most lawyers we know, I don't know any other way, the main one we know is that he has to abridge the time. And this one, they can quickly cause it to be served on the Attorney General, etc. Chief Justice Bafoboni can they will grant so that he will get to go to court tomorrow so that they can hear it tomorrow. It will be very embarrassing to us as a nation if we have to wait till Friday for that application to be heard. It's not on. Look, Mr. Kansa, I can tell you that the technology, rather in this case, it appears to be sending us back. When we started practicing these ex-party kind of applications, you could file it in the morning, and then within 1 hour, 2 hours, you have a court. Like the time that Afenyo Martin did and got in trouble. When we started practicing, you could just go and file. The registrars had authority. They'll give you a court that very morning, okay? So then later they brought this thing, they say, electronic case management system. It is that system that determines judges. But I also heard recently that they've stopped using it. Whatever it is, it cannot be good practice. It will totally embarrass our criminal justice system if we have to wait till Friday for the application to be heard. It's not good because we have law. Supreme Court says that 48 hours is 48 hours. That's you must bring the accused or the suspect before court within 48 hours. So how can And this one we admit, this one is habeas corpus. When we say habeas corpus, it means bring out the body. Means that you are holding somebody legally. So bring the person out. So that when you come, long story short, even though the state can ask for more time to go and respond, etc. From the way it works, the day you bring the person, if the reasons don't look tenable, then the judge will grant bail. So what I'm saying is that the habeas corpus thing, a lot of the time it is used to get early bail. So if you are to bring the accused or suspect to court within 48 hours, how can an application for habeas corpus now go to 96 hours? It's not good. It's not good for our system. It makes a mockery of our criminal justice system. So this one there, we are all on bended knees, praying that tomorrow GodfredDame should take the steps. And we're on bended knees that Chief Justice Bafu Boni, or if it's out of town, the acting Chief Justice in his presence, in his absence, will do the needful so that they will give him a court tomorrow. And remember, the Supreme Court has said that, look, the executive doesn't determine the working hours of the court. So even tomorrow by this time, even if the application will be heard in the night, we pray that it be heard. Because, so I can say, if we don't do that, they say when fire catches your neighbor's beard, you find water for yours. We should not say, oh, yes, we all know the bad things they did when the NPP was in government, etc. But this one, we are looking at the personal liberties. We don't know tomorrow. No matter how long it takes, one day NPP will be back. So it's better that we have that in mind so that we don't behave like they would never come. So do anything to NPP people. No. That is not the way to build a country. So we will forget about what they did while they were in office and pray that we straighten it, make the system better so that all of us will feel safe. Otherwise, we don't know. We don't know tomorrow. Yes.
I appreciate your time on this matter. And as you did indicate, the next couple of days is one to watch and what the position of the courts will be on this application by Godfred Yeboah. Thank you. Martin Pebu is private legal practitioner joining us on this matter. Coming up next, fully settled a $700 million Eurobond obligation ahead of schedule. Now, as you do know, there's a scheduled period of payment to the investors who have invested in our bond. Now, these Eurobond investors have taken haircuts over the period because of the entire restructuring that took place, and then also the agreement with them because of the period that we had to go through as an economy. But this was supposed to be completed, the entire process of completion was on Thursday, July 2, and it comprised of $525.2 million in principal payments and $174.8 million in interest payments. That makes up the $700 million we're talking about. The latest settlements, from what we got from the Finance Ministry, brings Ghana's total payments to Eurobond holders to some $2.1 billion since January 2025. And this is in line with the country's Eurobond exchange, that's the debt exchange program that we entered into with the Eurobond holders. Now, the Ministry of Finance says the repayment was executed through the government's planned financing arrangement and did not place some undue pressure on Ghana's foreign exchange. But let's take a look at this. We want to understand a bit further what this really means, how this impacts on our external debt portfolio, because here's what we do know. This $700 million that has been paid, and the $2.1 billion in total to Eurobond holders since January 2025. Dr. Theo Echampong is a technical advisor to the finance minister or the finance ministry. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Dr. Theo Echampong, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. First of all, I want to find out from you, with this payment that has been made, and I'm expanding the scope of analysis of what has happened now ahead of schedule. What is the larger impact of this payment that has been made on the bigger picture of our external debt portfolio as we speak?
Thank you very much. A pleasure to be here. So I think really the impact is multifold. The thing we really wanted to do was to send a very clear signal to the market, to investors, that Once again, we are committed to honoring our payment obligations as and when they fall due, but also importantly, you take advantage of the improving or the favorable external environment if you can to repay the debt, a little bit earlier than had originally been anticipated. That for me is the biggest signal that this really is sending. I mean, if you look at the numbers as well, and this is the second point, the 700 million payment actually comprises the principal of about 525 million and an interest payment of 175 million. Since 2024, when we completed the debt restructuring and especially on the Eurobond bid, the total payment so far is coming up to around 2.5, 2.6, right, billion, dollars. And consistently, especially for last year and this year, we have made and sent a very clear signal that we are committed to paying and actually also paying on time. And if time or circumstances allow, you could even pay ahead of time in that sense. We still have some debt that we need to take care of. What I mean by that is that if you look at the total debt portfolio of the country, our public debt as of close of December 2025 was still around 45%, right, of GDP in that sense. And of course, every other country owes. But what is very important is to ensure that when the coupon payments are due, you do have money to be able to do that. And we have been able to do it, importantly also, without having to encumber our foreign exchange, reserves in that regard. So all in all, we think that this is a positive signal that we're trying to send to the market, and it's actually been received as such relative to the obligations that we have to pay. We still have some Eurobond payments that would have to be taken care of in the months and in the years, right, to come. But as far as 2026 is concerned, this settles all of that.
I see. But then what's the impact of this payment on our foreign exchange reserves? This $700 million that we have paid right now. And you say that settles the repayment for the year 2026. But how does that impact on our foreign exchange reserves?
So what this is doing is that it's actually not significantly changing the reserve position of the country. What it's actually doing is you are paying down your debt. So if you look at the statement that the Ministry of Finance issued this morning, we made it very clear in that statement that this payment that we have made is not encumbering or hindering on the reserves, and to an extent, you may even argue the forex position of the country. You could even look at the forex numbers, right? What is coming from the interbank and even on the forex exchange market, and you will see that the Bank of Ghana has been making forex available to the various players for financial intermediation. And this particular funding is not putting any undue pressure at all on the currency, on Ghana's foreign exchange reserves.
And finally, before I let you go, I see that in as much as this has fulfilled all the obligations in terms of repayment to the bondholders, that's Euro bondholders for 2026, they had to take some haircuts, right? Some over 30% haircuts that these Euro bondholders had to take. How have you managed that particular situation? I'm talking about the finance ministry. With these Euro bondholders having to take this haircut, how has that impacted on the investor confidence? Although the economic indicators and the rebound of the economy looks good and attractive, has that also, created any sense of, as it were, disquiet for the external investor community regarding the haircuts that they had to take?
So again, that's a good question, but my minister has made this very clear that we are not necessarily in a rush to go to the international capital market to borrow, right? In the past, you would have done, 3 billion or so every year of these Eurobonds coming in to support your Forex accumulation and then also to repay some of the old debt that we owed. This time around, the dynamics are different, by virtue of gold board and then the gold accumulation, GANRAP policies. You're meeting quite a significant amount of your Forex, right, needs from the gold channel. And so really, if you look at the numbers and you slice and dice it, we are not in a rush. And Minister has made this very clearly to go to the market. We will when the timing and the circumstances, or call it the factors, are right.
I appreciate your time on this. Dr. Theo Echampong is a technical advisor at the Finance Ministry. And in the next couple of weeks, all things being equal, the Finance Minister is expected to present the media budget review. So we'll keep a close eye on how this also features in there as well. Thank you. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, now we have issues of extrajudicial killings leveled against the IGP Special Operations Team operating in the Upper East region. Now, the allegations were made by the Ghana Bar Association president in the Upper East region, Anthony Anamo. Now, let's go on to Zoom right now. The security analyst, executive director of the Africa Center for Security and Counterterrorism, Emmanuel Kuting. In fact, they've issued this statement detailing exactly the concerns that they raise regarding the position that the Ghana Bar Association have taken. But Mr. Kuting, thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. First of all, what exactly is the issue regarding the position that was put out by the Ghana Bar Association at this 2026 remembrance service for the 3 murdered High Court judges?
Good afternoon to our cherished listeners. The Remembrance Day for the 3 murdered justices was a solemn event. We call the matter days for the for justice. And we were surprised that a senior member of the bar decided to have a trial at the podium instead of following due processes. So we had serious concern as a security policy think tank, and we felt that we must raise our voice to some of these things. Because if you look at the allegations that were leveled against the IGP Black Maria, it's not an allegation that is new. I think we had a conversation some time ago about it when these extrajudicial killing allegations came up. We even released a presser to that effect, if you recall. So the IGP decided to send a professional, a senior police officer for that matter, to ascertain the facts on the ground. And if you look at the Black Maria is for the PDI department. And this senior officer the IGP sent to do this verification was from the CID. It's a top investigator as far as the Africa Center is concerned, because we have worked with him in the northern region when we had one of our most difficult times in the northern region. So the appropriate forum in our respective view for this senior member of the bar to do was to follow due process. But unfortunately, he publicly named this senior police officer, compromising his safety and blowing the lead on the covert operation the IGP team were otherwise doing in the Upper East region. Alfred, you recalled, in some few months back, there were armed robbery attacks in broad daylight in the Upper East region, especially the Bolga municipality. Momo vendors were killed in broad daylight. So I think what the IGP did should be commended, that indeed he came on the side of the people and sent these troops there who restore law and order. if there were some kind of allegation of extrajudicial killing, I think the appropriate body would have been the Commissioner of Human Rights and Administrative Justice, or if they want, they could even use the Police Professional Standard Bureau. So what this senior bar member did amount to standing in the midst of thorns and removing the thorns. And I think that it didn't go well with the solemn or the day we were even remembering. I think the judges died defending the law. And such a podium should not be used for the kind of things he said about the senior police officer. So we are simply calling for an independent and time-bound investigation to ascertain, one, if indeed the extrajudicial killing this lawyer is alleging is indeed true. Probably he has certain evidence the state is not privy to. And we believe that that is what will settle the matters than hanging somebody in the way he has done. If you go to social media now, Alfred, it has given opportunities to some groups in the Upper East region who is circulating the picture of this senior police officer, that he's the one responsible for killing their kinsmen. And you know, the Upper East region is a conflict zone as we talk at the moment because of the Boku conflict. So anything we do, we must be very circumspect and put peace before any other consideration. That's the position of the Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism. I want to place it on record that this senior police officer is very innocent. As a matter of fact, he rather went to investigate the allegations that were made. His only crime is that I'm told whilst he was there was some operation where they arrested some armed robbers who stole the motorbike. Unknown to the armed robbers, the motorbike had a tracker on it. So when they arrested these four, he directed that they should be brought to Accra so that this allegation of extrajudicial killing don't come out. And it's even a standard operation. Alfred, if you remember, in the northern region itself, when this Dagbon chieftaincy conflict was raging, anytime there were criminal activities and they arrested suspects, even for the safety of those suspects, they brought them to Accra. So what has this police officer done and should be named the manner it was done, compromising his personal security and that of the covert operation the state was carrying out. So the IGP should not belabor the point. He should reinforce protection around the officers and make sure that the team is on the ground so that the armed criminal networks in the municipality don't get reprieve because of someone's lapse. So I think that it was a bad lapse of professional judgment on the part of the lawyer.
Well, and I do thank you very much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight on this matter. And as you have indicated, that the IGP must also look into this matter.
So, abusuya submissions no ena yede ebrema enye asem keto akra nti no GodfredDame eno ena chese lawyer Martin Pebude ho nsem abetu dwa enye asem keto akra bedamase samo jepene kokotiza ensem edema aha eye gossip politics TV so konkonsa bia ekoso ewo political highway ni so bia no oba ha se ya obenya ni nyina ewo ha yebedamase